checkers and pleasers alike. Welcome to our show, Checkpoint, the show where we discuss and discern current events of the most recent episode of Check Please. Today we are discussing Check Please, episode 48. And I would love to welcome our members today. I am Keni, your fortunate host. Foaly as my co-host, hungry for fleshed out answers.
Hello.
Xeno, our swamp witch swarmonger.
That's me.
And Beardy, our beloved daddy DM.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello. It's good to have everyone. So, to start this off, just kind of an introduction of last night's episode. We started it off with Riz kind of turning Taily around to see her daughter for the first time since she was taken away as like a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That happened.
Xeno, would you like to tell us how you were feeling as a player versus character in this moment?
I want Taily to be happy. but Vera's not going to be able to forgive her for like all the animosity she already holds for her. Like Vera just learned that potentially she didn't like order the death of her father, but still, like, this entire time since she was 9 years old, maybe 8.
Yeah, has been feeling that way. Like, oh, this is the person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason she didn't like do anything was because she promised that she would forgive them.
Yeah.
Melly.
Rip. I mean, this is a great thing. I feel bad because I'm like, oh, I would love for Vera to just make up with her mom, but like life isn't that simple, you know?
You can't just flick a switch and be like, yep, okay, good.
We're good, it's fine.
It's like, oh yeah, that's all the healing.
I'm fine. Thank you. Your words have finally healed me and set my spirit free.
I'm now a good person.
Yeah, right?
I now appreciate hugs. But no.
Parent-child dynamics are complicated, especially in D&D.
Like, I felt bad that
Mostly
she
in
had to
real
give up the necklace, but also Vera wants the necklace.
Nah, it's fine. Like, Taily's gone this long without it. I think that if anything, she's in a better place having some closure on the whole situation, and knowing that Cormac didn't just like abandon her.
She's like, oh, he still loved me to the end.
Yeah, and it's like she'll take some solace in that, even though he's dead. Like at least he didn't abandon her.
Sorry
and their
about
love.
that.
And yeah, she knows that somewhere her kid's out there.
But she's also now having to grapple with the fact that her kid is responsible for the death of her parents and a lot of other people.
And a lot of other people, yeah. Of which she's not going to tell anybody.
If she was more sus, I was planning on gassing her to never talk about it.
Jeez. Oh, y'all are fucking crazy.
Yes.
So much respect for free will and consent.
Mhm. Yeah.
From all
Look,
of us.
Riz doesn't have the same issues as Kurla.
I know. Oh, I'm well aware of that by
Yeah,
now.
well aware that Curl is a good aligned character and Riz is not.
Look,
It's very clear.
I know this is skipping ahead, but I was so fucking nervous when Petravian, like, detected evil in the Vardo, and I was like, oh, fuck. Did I become evil recently? I don't know.
You worried you were going to have an alignment shift?
I was worried, yes. I'm having a crisis of faith.
But as I talked about at the end, while we were discussing together, is that Vera's going to definitely be thinking out a lot of this kind of stuff and potentially slowly healing by herself. And maybe someday she'll see her mother again. Who
I
knows?
really hope Taily eventually, like, seeks out Vera just to try.
Yeah.
I hope one day. I don't think that's going to be in campaign.
Yeah.
I hope one day in the future of Vera's existence, she gets that.
There's some closure there. Some better closure.
Better
Some
closure.
happier closure.
But it can't just happen all at once. Sorry, Levette. It doesn't. Band-Aid.
Well, especially when Vera's like, I don't want to see this person.
Yeah, we did a mean thing. But at least for my character, they don't really feel that bad about it because they're pretty upset at yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rude.
So rude.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah. But after we were finished talking to Taeli and Vera grumpily flew off, not...
Buzzed off, I believe is the term.
I can't say that. You're the only one who can say it.
I'm the
Are we
only
going
one.
to take damage out of character?
I worry about it constantly.
I'm the only one that can use these buzzwords.
Anyways, we take Taeli back to Pentrist Estates, and we go off to talk to a church official. Riz wanted to give money to pretty much make up for the fact that they killed people. I mean, at least on their end, they're like, I need to do something because I am not okay.
Yeah, how'd that work out for them?
I mean, they feel
Guilt-wise.
better about, like, helping people at least. I don't know. What do you want?
No, nothing. I'm
I want you to feel
asking,
bad.
I mean, I do feel
I don't-
bad as, like, a person because I'm sick, but, you know, that's
No, I
one
don't.
thing.
I'm not going anywhere with that question. I'm just asking how was the reaction as a player and as a character to that moment?
As a player, I didn't think there would be any issue. Honestly, I wanted to give more money, but I didn't think that would make sense for Riz to say more because they're still a greedy bitch. And that's the most amount of money they've ever given now in game. So that's a lot for them. Because before it was the 5,000 to the trading company for Naomi.
But as quickly as you're getting this money spent, you're getting money in faster. Like your overall total gold has still continued to climb.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not really shedding your material wealth.
I am actually saving it for something. Like as a player, there's a
I know.
complete reason. You know my plan.
I know
so I'm
why.
like,
I mean,
I don't know why you're smirky over here, you little bitch.
because that's my job. I'm the DM. I'm supposed to smirk.
is that your job?
Kind of that and tell people to make perception checks.
That is my
That's
favorite
about-
check. Well, except
It's
unless
about
I'm
half my
playing
job.
lobby, I guess. That's
The lobby's blind as hell.
yeah. At least she's pretty.
Or at least was.
Ooh! You
Ooh.
gotta shh. I
Wow.
can't say that yet. I gotta
Wow.
mute for a second. Keep talking.
So money was given to the Church of Shamish. I think it was like the tune of 8,000 gold. And they're probably going to be able to do quite a bit of good with that money.
Yeah, I mean, I
And-
don't think it's gonna be total free healthcare, but it'll be that way for a little while.
It'll cover the expenses of 800 people. So
Yeah.
it'll be good. Especially now that they're starting to dismantle the Eroni's barrier and to start to get the wall taken down. So hopefully the city will become a much better place to live in the near future. Particularly with Taeli trying to make things better all around anyway,
Mhm.
after having found out everything that went down and why things happened the way they did. And
And hopefully, with all of the healing that was done by Petravian and by Kurla, that will also take some of the strain off the healthcare system that is now well funded.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think ultimately it is going to massively improve the quality of life in that town. And they're also going to have a big influx of workers and a big influx, like the population is going to start growing like crazy because they're no longer like losing a bunch of people every month to disease. So they're going to start really filling up that city.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect it to be kind of a boom time around there, which, interestingly enough, is going to create shortages of workers in all the surrounding, like, smaller villages. So I expect those smaller villages to start suffering from famines in the near future. Good job, guys.
Why do you do
Unintended.
this to us? It's like
Unintended.
the one time I gave 100 coins to a little stable boy because Soul didn't understand the concept of money being a big thing.
Yeah.
And I never get to live down trying to give money away ever. Like
Right.
I just get tortured for this for some reason. Is this my cross to bear, like as a player for the rest of my campaigns?
I'm just saying that the world's not as simple as being able to be like, okay, we saved the day, everyone's going to be happy forever now. It's like, well, yes, this town is going to, now that this doesn't happen there, now these other things are going to happen, and these other things are going to happen, and then there's unintended consequences to every action.
Yo, this
It
dating
doesn't-
seems really hard.
This dating
It
seems
doesn't-
really hard. This is harder than Monster Prom.
Oh, shit. I mean, Monster Prom, like, you get, like, that first couple of nights is real easy.
Yeah, and then it
And
gets
it makes
really
and then
fucking hard.
and then it gets really hard because you really have to understand their way
Psyche.
of thinking about the world.
The only
yeah.
person I could like understand was the fucking demon.
Not that, but you have to be
Yeah.
very specifically prepared in like certain stats at the end game, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, now I fucking hate you. Go die in a corner.
Yeah, it's
It's like,
just
oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
okay.
You were happy with me this entire time until right now.
Yeah, you even tried to sabotage me, but I
true.
can get a werewolf, a computer, and a demon. Those are the
Well,
kind of things attracted to me.
I was really hoping you could have gotten the weeaboo cultist character, but
yeah.
you couldn't land that one.
I couldn't land it. But getting back to check, please, and not
Yes.
video
No,
games we
this
love.
is the,
Getting back
Monster
to
Prom.
getting back to the Pentress Estates.
Ah.
And now that the healthcare system is well funded, we also did some work on the infrastructure, or rather, Riz and Levette did some work on the infrastructure, the Church of Shamish and Cloak, although we're not. Cloak is sort of a secret. And I can't remember who the other one was actually.
Voska.
Voska,
You
thank
mean
you. Of
the
course it was
face?
Voska.
You mean the like smiley face that we?
There's a smiley face in there
It's
if
a
you look
smiley
at it
face.
just right.
How cute.
That was pretty good.
Oh, just
Mhm.
Riz, just
I am very happy that you guys got to go there though. That was fun.
yeah, it was fun. Riz isn't super helpful, but I helped like mend fucking curtains and shit
You can push a broom. I mean, that's helpful.
with my mage hand.
So-
Yes.
Yes.
Is that temple roughly what you had in your mind, Xeno,
Yeah.
when you put that there?
Yeah. That
Okay.
sounded all right.
Okay. I didn't know if there was like anything in your brain about what it looked like or how it was
No.
laid out.
Mostly, I just thought the groundwork, which was just like okay, like the main like two sections are going to be those two, and then underneath is the Temple of Cloak. So you wouldn't even see like the main stuff. So it's awesome to see like to hear that. Oh yeah, secretly you can see inside of them. I thought that was cool.
It's a nice reflection of the city and its people. It's the fact that the three deities that are worshipped are commerce, construction, and secrets. That's
It definitely does say a lot about the city. I feel like
Mm.
It
the
really
governance.
do. I was actually very surprised because I was like, oh, that's a weird combo. Mmm. Okay.
But after you guys finished putting some spackle down and getting that place up and running, Levette kind of got into a little conversation with the Voskins and managed to kind of put out some feelers about hiring a bunch of folks.
Mm.
So that was kind of cool. I hope Rella is prepared for that.
She's
At least
never
imagine.
prepared. I feel so bad for her. She seems to have like a lot of anxiety problems.
Oh.
Like that girl need medication.
Rella has
Seriously.
severe anxiety problems.
Yeah.
Do they
like-
have beta blockers in this world? Can we invent them? Magical ones?
I mean, technically, you can cast spells on people to make them feel better for a while.
I still
You can
love
also
the-
do ones that can make people compulsive liars for a while. That's fun.
Yeah. Every time I think of Rella, I remind myself of the line that popped out of me, of when she said like, "Oh, my parents were right," something like that.
And it's the page quote for them on the wiki because it is just perfect.
It
Yeah,
it
like-
explains their character so much.
Oh, Rella.
This poor, like, just finished college kid.
Yeah, yeah. I like to think that she either just finished college or she dropped out of college because she thought this was going to be like a great opportunity.
Ooh, for that
That's even
second
worse.
part.
What is her position title?
Yeah, what
Is
is
it just supervisor?
I think it started out as assistant, but now she probably just calls herself like director of production.
She deserves the title bump and like
Yeah,
a
but does she get a
higher
pay
wage.
bump?
I was gonna say, yeah,
I guess
pay bump
yeah,
as well as
technically
title
she
bump.
did. But she's using it all for the store. She owns the store, basically.
Yeah, she practically runs that shit on her own now, I guess.
Yeah. But I just imagine a bunch of like unwashed people from Pinterest are going to show up and be like, give us work.
Also, and I think it was
Like,
Xeno who pointed this out later. Maybe I'm not sure who it was, but the fact that they're all these traumatized individuals from this town that's been overrun by a swarm for the past 6 years are going to end up in very close proximity to the hive.
The closest proximity without living inside the hive.
I'm wondering. was it you who pointed that out, Xeno? Because
I think it was Xeno,
it's
yeah.
a good note.
Yeah, I made sure to say it after all the conversations were had.
Didn't want to lead people to make other decisions.
Yes. So I was like, yes.
But it's nice, though. I think it speaks to Levette's character of straddling these two deities to a certain extent, Shamish and Voska, trying to hire the Voskan employees and give them work, but that also kind of benefits their older allegiance to Shamish, and it fits. It was a nice moment, and hopefully these poor traumatized folk will what do we call them? Pentrons? Pentrisons? Pentri? I'm not sure how to describe them as a group noun, but
Paninis.
hopefully they will
Pentresians.
Hopefully they will find a new life of prosperity in Ville for the next few days before the Deadlands swallows them up.
Yeah.
Speaking
I mean-
of not wasting time while the Deadlands are constantly expanding and while Vera is getting increasingly impatient, after doing some more healing and kind of getting a sense that the town is in full Mardi Gras celebration mode, Kurla and Petra went to
A bar. The
A bar.
Dancing Crow.
a Lion King themed bar.
No.
Bless you.
It doesn't exist. I'm just gonna say this for like the world and the wiki. That other bar doesn't exist. It's not part of the plan.
It doesn't exist. It's not part of the plan. I'm just giving you good-natured shit.
Oh no, I
because
just have to make
love.
sure that it's very obvious that that's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It will
There is
bother
no-
Beardy otherwise.
There is no copyright infringement.
And maybe Xeno too.
I don't give a shit.
okay.
I told Beardy all these blank canvases of buildings, have your way with them. Have them be whatever the fuck you want. Only the ones that have that I labeled, those are the ones that are a thing.
Okay. I just know you're very specific with your backstory.
So you named the bar, Xeno?
No,
No.
Okay, that
It
was
was
also...
Beardy.
I did not name
Beardy,
any
okay.
bars in the area. Mine were more like major landmarks, certain specific buildings like schools, academies, and like bathhouses and stuff.
Gotcha.
I think Soul would have liked the tavern.
Yeah.
That was...
Everyone
ahead,
was quite excited. Like the entire town seemed to be like just dancing in celebration.
Yeah, it was nice. Really wholesome.
Yeah.
It was a
And-
fun party atmosphere.
And it led to some interesting things. So because everyone was in such a jovial mood, and because Kurla started buying drinks to the entire bar, it elicited some attention from bargoers. And we found out that Kurla has absolutely no perception for any of that whatsoever.
Which...
So that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, they've got no perception of it, but even if they did, they would have no interest in it. That was kind of the point that I hope came across there as well.
Well-
It's...
Like, even, like, relationship-wise, then?
How do you mean?
Well, I know Petravian was describing it as, like, a more sexual thing, but what if someone was just, like, approaching Kurla as, like, I will find you interesting? Like,
No,
even
see-
if it wasn't a sexual relationship.
I think that's where the confusion came in. I think the way Petravian was explaining it
He
impression
did
that
make it sound like that it was purely sexual.
Right. That was the takeaway that Curler was getting from that, and from that, Curler was like, "Well, no, that doesn't actually interest me. So why? If you're telling me that that's what these people are approaching me for, then I'm
Rip.
not really interested."
Well, I mean, it pretty much was. I mean, it was meant to be like random bar hookups. Like they weren't looking for long-term romantic relationships.
Which wouldn't interest Curler either. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's like, well, okay,
I was just
I'll be
curious,
polite,
like,
but I'm
what if?
confused. I'm sorry?
I was curious about, like, what if they were interested in that, though? Like, how would Curler respond to something like that?
It's never come up for them, and I don't think they ever considered that it would, and that's stuff that kind of predates the whole shit that went down that pushed them to be much more distant. But who knows?
I was just
As
curious.
far as they know, they're basically asexual and aromantic, and that's not a trauma response. That's prior to all of that hell going down, which just kind of reinforced it by circumstance. But who knows? It might happen. That may change. People are weird and fluid, and it's awesome.
And then what happened after that immediately was that Traven was like, "Oh, hey, let me show you how it's done."
Which
As
is
if-
very much so Petravian, like trying to be
Yeah,
the
like-
wingman, not getting it, but trying to be the wingman. So bless you for that, Skrewy.
Yeah. And just deciding to be like, "Oh, well, here, let me just show you. Here, take a look." And then just goes and proceeds to have possibly the most awkward 2 minutes of Check Please history.
It was almost the same setup as when he started torturing that person, except for he was torturing me instead.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, boy.
charming.
I really did try to play along as I could. I was like, okay, this person's probably like, they're a little weird. Let's just see like what their thing is, right? And
But as soon as Petravian's like, I want to get some.
yeah, it was just like, fuck off. Like, you're not even that charming. Like, maybe if he was charming about it, sure.
I enjoyed NCC's comments during that time. Just, wow.
Wow.
Oh, this is painful.
It was for us, too.
Yeah.
I did
Feelings
like
mutual
that
NCC.
I did like that the line almost made a third appearance. We were so close to getting a third appearance of that one pickup line that
Oh, yeah. I was
has
thinking
yet
that
to
the whole
fail.
time.
It's like, if only...
My fingers were
If he had
crossed.
said it, I would have been like, so does that actually work on people, or?
Oh, that was so good.
I was waiting for it. I was like, is he gonna do it? Because I have the best talk response for him.
I feel like at this point we've shamed him too much about that response that he would
He's
never
now sealed-
actually do
He's
it.
sealed it in the Disney vault.
I liked the little side bet though with the drink getting flung in the face. That
Oh,
made
yeah.
me happy. That
That was good.
I was really trying not to, but boy, did he
He stepped in it pretty hard.
He did. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But it got to be a little bit of a lighter side of the episode, and it got to show Curler kind of loosening up a little bit, or trying to. And nice time between Petravian and Curler as well. We don't see a huge amount of them together, so that was nice as well. And the earlier stuff as well, like telling Petravian that he's more than just a hammer.
I feel so bad because I feel like a lot of people are really trying to like connect with Petravian lately, and every time we do, it's just it doesn't get there. I don't know how to explain it. It's just he has this weird dismissive air about him. Does that make sense? He'll be like,
He's
"Oh,
very
thanks,
set in his ways.
but I don't learn from any of the things we talk about."
Well, we'll come back to that because there was an interesting moment between him and Riz later in the episode. Interesting being one way of putting it, a polite way of putting it. But our bar adventure came to an end as we got to discover what Riz chose from the vault.
Yeah, I got a thing called the Ring of the Sophisticate. It is a super fucking cool item. I was looking through stuff and I was like, oh, I want to, in truth, just to kind of skip ahead with like explaining the item stuff, I wanted to spend more on Petravian's item because I really wanted to get him something nice because obviously he trusted them enough to grab an item, and I wanted to spend like a little extra money to get something nicer that would matter more, I feel like. So I really wanted to get him that crown again because I was like, oh, this was a thing we encountered and he was really excited about it, so I want to kind of pay it back a little with that trust. So I got an item that was less money so that I could get Petravian a higher quality item.
Nice.
But the ring I got was also just super cool. It works really well for Riz. It has like 4 different features, which is really cool, but I'm gonna let some of the other features just kind of happen organically in game.
Sure.
Before I bring them up here. But I'm really excited about this ring. It's a simple thing, but it helps me do something that I've been complaining about for a while. So I'm really excited. Fucking locate object. Oh my god. Every time, like, I'm like, oh, we have a paladin who, like, can choose his spells willy-nilly, right? He can just choose the day before. He can pick all these cool, like, helpful spells for getting a thing if we need it. Or, like, giving us truth zones and whatever. But no, he never picks those spells. And I was like, fine, I'll do it myself.
I'll be the paladin.
Thank you, Thanos. Well, we know at least one of those 4 features is obviously locating an object or a person, and you spun it up. It was the shank spun up, if I'm recalling.
No, the shank is the
correctly.
part that's around your finger. That's
okay.
The ring. It's that's
so
the
like
shank.
on this one, it's like there's a little pointed gemstone
Gotcha.
on the top, and it kind of just it swivels and points toward where you're supposed to go to find the person or object or tavern. Which is a
And
nice little feature.
You hunted down Petravian. Were you surprised to find us in a tavern?
I mean, as a player, no, because I already heard
Well,
about
no,
it.
obviously.
I was like, whoa!
In character.
I think Riz was more irritated. Yeah, they're just like, guys, we were doing the good thing and then leaving.
I blame Petravian. He's not here to defend himself. I blame Petravian.
Okay.
Love you,
point.
Skrewy.
But of course,
You do the love. There we go.
in my feverish mental state, I slipped Vera's name because honestly, I was having a little trouble focusing, just like I slipped the fact that Vera's dad was dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
I made bad choices yesterday because I was sick. I'll be honest.
But it worked. It fit in with Riz's mental state being a little bit off right now for several different really good reasons. So you used it. You brought those circumstances in and you used them in the character.
I was so fucking quick to come up with another name that sounded like Vera, though.
What was the alternate name?
Tara.
Tara. Okay.
It's a real person's name, so of course it'd be like, oh yeah, no, Tara.
Thank God for your bluff check.
Oh, fortune teller. I have a great diplomacy and a great bluff check for these very reasons.
Why?
But I mean, it at least sort of it made things better for Petravian and Kurla because suddenly they weren't the ones responsible for ruining the atmosphere and making everything awkward. So thank you, Riz, for outshining us there.
I don't think Riz cares. They're just like, more of a reason to leave faster. Good.
Yeah. Which we then do. We make our way out. We saddle up, so to speak, and get the hell out of Dodge and reconnect with Vera, who is still angry.
As always.
She's
Finding
always
defining
angry.
character traits.
Who has paced trenches into the dirt.
Yeah, we joined back up with Vera, and I feel bad because again, like Vera's as a player or even just someone who listens to the show because I edit a lot of the stuff on my own. I adore Vera. I think she's a really cool character and she's probably my favorite character. It's very hard for me personally to be mad at her when I'm like, she can do no wrong. She's my little marshmallow. I love this character. She is the best. And then being like, oh no, my character's very mad at you, and I feel very bad that my character's mad at you, but it would not make sense otherwise, so... But, of course, Vera needed to grab Hummel, so we had to go back to her old hive. We didn't get, like, a lot of time there, I feel like, as much as maybe we wanted to, but we did go through the night to mess up our sleep schedule, yay, just to get Hummel.
Yep.
And was that the night that
It was.
Yeah, that was the night that I
Did a bad
I did a
thing.
bad thing again, as I usually do as Riz. I just keep I feel like I'm making, like, first player decisions a lot more with Riz lately. Like, just like, oh, where are the lines? I don't know where they are, so I'm just gonna make a decision and see what happens. And I don't know if that's the vibe of Riz that I'm just playing off of, or what.
I'm not clear on what you mean by first player decisions.
So there's kind of this fascinating thing that happens when you get players that are brand new. They will make decisions because they don't know where the boundaries are. But players who have been playing for a long period of time get vibes based on, like, their experiences in the past and will be a little more safe, usually. Excuse me. So there's kind of a dichotomy between, like, earlier players and more hardened players or whatever, because they'll be like, oh, I've experienced a terrible thing from this DM before, so I won't do this thing probably because I know there's probably repercussions. And a newer player probably won't do that because they don't have those experiences. They'll just do the thing because they're like, I want to see what happens.
Yeah, like, a good example of that is, like, if I say, are you sure? Some people are going to read that and be like, if a new player will be like, yeah, this is the DM asking me if I'm sure about something. And a more experienced player, like, that's going to set off an alarm.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh no, like, the DM is asking for confirmation because something terrible is about to happen. So it's one of those things that, like, it can be almost a coded message.
Gotcha.
But it's that kind of thing that, like, players will just sort of pick up on
Very
And
tells
yet-
like that. Yeah.
And yet Riz did move forward with another attempt to scry on Marcus.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think it might be because I'm literally playing a more power fantasy for myself, and I don't know where the boundaries are with Riz. But I didn't really know the boundaries with Soul either. I made a lot of decisions where I was like, I don't know, a lot of buzzers are going off in my head, but wouldn't it be more interesting if I did this, though? And I just do the thing. It's not smart. I do the bad thing, but it's so enticing.
Yeah. So now Marcus knows exactly where you guys are
Yeah.
and knows exactly what your plan is to a certain degree, and has scryed on you enough to probably know that you've got, at least half of the solution already.
And
I don't
can
know
also
how he'd know
manipulate.
that.
Yeah, how would he know that? He didn't see the
He wasn't-
device.
He wasn't done scrying on you guys.
We haven't really.
He just
We didn't talk
talked
about
about
the
it.
Succi device.
No. No, I know you didn't,
Though. Okay.
Okay.
but he snooped around. It's fine.
And he can also manipulate shit in the Vardo at great distance, apparently. Which is not
So that's
terrifying or
fun.
anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to get cut by shards of cutlery and,
Look,
like,
it's fine. He's just
tableware.
flirting with me. It's fine.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow. If this ends with Riz and Marcus getting together, it's just, yeah, that's fucking disturbing. I'm sorry.
Very interesting relationship.
It's
Fucking awful.
it's interesting that Riz is posturing to a certain extent, and maybe not posturing, but they're acting with a confidence that they
Don't have.
either that they don't have or that they're used to projecting because they can back it up, and in this case they're not used to being at a disadvantage.
Perhaps, or they actually just always are faking it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think calling up and shit-talking the big bad evil guy is never a good idea in any campaign.
Honestly, I don't think it was the fact that they were doing it to shit-talk him originally. It's just that it kind of sort of happened because they were terrified.
Mm-hmm. And that's their terror response?
Yeah, their terror response is to act bigger.
Okay. To inflate.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, they were fucking scared as can be. Which I was hoping for that to be more subtle because I was like, oh, Riz wouldn't want anyone to know that they're scared. So, of course, they'd act this way. They'd act big and machismo about it. Because, I mean, they're not a god and their mortality is very real to them right now. So,
yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I guess speaking of contacting people, aside from contacting and shit-talking Marcus, Riz also sought the contact of someone less terrible.
Yeah.
That we know.
I mean, he shared tea with me last time. That was pretty nice.
That's pretty wholesome. Yeah.
It was a really wholesome interaction the last time I met Jiro.
But has he ever said anything good?
That's true. He's never said anything good.
He's never said a good thing in his life.
He's never complimented anyone.
Speaking
about
as an
anything.
English person, just because someone drinks tea doesn't make them a good person. Let me express that on behalf of my civilization and our imperialist history.
But he shared tea. This is pretty nice. I don't know. I thought it was endearing.
It was a very sweet moment, actually, and I'm sure he's fine. We do have a tendency, or rather perhaps I have a tendency to...
I don't know where you got that from. I'm very curious where you got that from
I got
NPCs.
that from nowhere. I'm teasing when it comes to Jiro. When it comes to other NPCs, yeah. I've been
but where did you get it from, like,
mistrustful.
in general? Like, you have a very distrust of NPCs normally, and I'm like, where did this come from?
I've been hurt before.
But when? Tell me!
I don't know. Maybe that's just Curler's. Maybe I'm just playing Curler, or
Maybe there's a lot more to unpack.
maybe there's more to unpack there. Maybe
you
I
and
need
Beardy need to have a talk. Like, he's a teddy bear. Like, he's real sweet. You don't have to worry about him. He's here to make you, like, have a fun time.
He killed all of Levette's, like, family members.
No,
True,
not
I
all
did.
of them.
I killed all of them except for one who I have been torturing for the last 6 years.
the love of Soul's life, ultimately betrayed Soul and turned Soul into a murderer of worlds. Nothing bad
he
ever
never
happened in
betrayed
this
them.
game.
No, I think the whole thing was that Grow did everything that he did for Soul.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say it's a betrayal in that he didn't, like, tell Soul what was going on completely, but, in his mind, it was always out of a sense of loyalty.
That's fair.
And you know what? Soul might have been, like, very surprised and like, oh no, but at the same time, Soul still took the same fucking deal just for a different cause.
Mm-hmm.
Saving the world. It's a little different. But
I worry that the other shoe will drop, but it will not drop with Jiro. I think we can, yes, trust Jiro.
but
And it will be fun to see them again.
I thought it was really cool that his messages came back as pictures. That is a really cool way to, like, depict sign language through message. I thought that was really fun.
Italicized ASCII art.
Yeah, an ASCII italicized olive. That was his answer.
I felt so bad because I was like, I know exactly what this is for. I was
Yeah,
a little
like,
confused
was
because
it-
I thought the Deadlands had expanded past Heart and Shin, but I don't know. We're gonna find out.
It took me
You're
a
gonna
little
find
bit
out.
to figure it out, because, like, okay, is there any towns that sound like Olive? Are there any vineyards? And then I was like, wait, what's the place called that we stayed at?
This is a fucking elegant olive. Like, I sent you guys away there so many times so I could bone Siva.
But let's be honest, once, and then the other is, like, sadness.
Yeah,
Or
you broke
Siva.
Siva's heart.
So we've made a date to meet Jiro at the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Endless breadsticks. That's going to be a good episode.
I mean,
Hey,
you
that's the
guys can
title,
have
actually.
breadsticks.
What- and what's important is you're going to be possibly forging some sort of alliance to get you guys
Possibly.
to the east, and that's a good thing because when you go to the Olive Garden, your family.
That half the time I was like, is there an Olive Garden?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of going to the east, something that's not on our note sheet, but also that wonderful roll of yours, the Nat 20 on the ley line
Yeah,
That was
Lithogates
so
that's right.
Yeah.
mapping.
Woo!
Well done on that. And now we have some knowledge that there are gates over in Kintao that are locked.
But also the Edenites were like, please, by
Please
the love
don't
of
use
gods, don't use them.
Do not go there. The Kintao said that they would destroy the gates if anyone came through. Please do not do that.
Ah, what's the worst that could... Oh, okay, yeah, we won't do. But it was nice to... It was a nice sort of like added bonus to that nice roll. It's the fact that you now have that knowledge firsthand.
And if
That's cool.
even if we don't use it to get in, we could always use it to get out.
Yeet.
Fingers crossed that Jiro knows a safe way in and out. I mean, he got out.
You make it
Yeah.
sound really ominous.
Yeah, you could... I mean, you could definitely, like... When you get to Jiro, and you can be like, hey, how does this all work? How did you get out? How do we get in? Like, and I think that he will, be well understanding of your guys' position as well as your trustworthiness as people. So, he might be pretty forthcoming with information, more so than maybe last time.
Yeah,
Now that, him and the rest of the Lightning Blades have, like, seen firsthand how dangerous the Deadlands expansion is, and that it does maybe represent some sort of clear and present danger to the entire world.
Yeah, but while we were traveling to the Lithogates, the Druid Circle, Levette kind of pulled aside Petravian while Vera was off making a magic item. Good times, talking behind people's backs. I don't give a shit. I just think it's funny. I like it. I like the drama.
Also, yay for that magic item. I'll be curious to know what that item is.
I'm very excited.
Okay, very nice.
Levette was worrying about Vera's closure, and we kind of touched on this earlier a little bit with talking about Taeli and stuff, but I think it's very interesting that Levette wants this so badly for Vera. And my character's just pissed at her, like, she doesn't deserve closure. Fuck her!
She doesn't want that either.
It's true. Vera just wants to be. She just wants to be. And, for the world to not end, good times, woo!
Would be nice if we managed to save the world. We'll see.
But
Because
yeah.
Vera wants to keep being.
I just found it very interesting because, look, we don't have Grem here, but this is a vibe that I've been getting about Levette being very extreme about Vera's relationship with her mother. I feel like Levette's been projecting a lot with Vera. This is just the vibe I'm getting. I could be wrong. It's just how I'm at, right now. But, Levette had such a problem with their own mom and how the curse kind of changed them and how they didn't have their mom and now they have their mom back. It's still a little iffy. But I feel like there's a lot of projection because Levette's mom is so important to her that she almost feels like Vera should feel the same. That's the vibe I've been getting a lot. It's just that this has to be important to you because it's important to me kind of thing. And I find that very interesting as just me getting that vibe. Again, could be incorrect. We don't have Graham here.
No,
I
it's
miss you.
100% correct. I'm just going to say this just so Graham can hear it. 100% correct. Levette, 100%
Is projecting.
Well, and I could be wrong on this, but I think that's definitely a part of it. I also think that some of what Graham has talked about with Levette in the past not feeling as connected to Petravian and Petravian and Vera having bonded more in the past 5 years, I think
Well,
that
kinda. Barely.
At least so far as Levette perceives it. Whether or not they actually have is,
I mean, he just joined the hive.
just joined the hive. So no,
I've
but
been here
this is.
for like 5 years.
You think that matters
I think-
to Vera?
I think that's Levette's perception, and again, I as you said, we could be wrong on
like,
that, but that
girl,
is
if
what
you
Graham
really-
has kind of.
If you really want to be friends with Vera, just join her fucking cult, dude.
Right. That being what Graham's kind of indicated in the past, I think this speaks to Levette wanting still to be better friends with Vera and hoping that Vera will become nicer now as a result of putting some of this stuff behind them, and that I can see where Levette's coming from with that, but it's gonna take a lot of time if that kicks in ever.
It might be like post-campaign.
Yeah, like 20, 30, 40, 50 years from
just
now.
finally just being like, I feel better now. Just one
We can be
morning.
friends now.
No, I mean, I don't know if Vera. I'm gonna talk for your character. I don't know if Vera's ever gonna be like, oh, you're my friend if you're not in the hive, other than for Soul maybe. But they're still like, oh, you're a person who's around me, and like, you don't make me want to kill you.
But also, Soul said that they wanted to be part of the hive, and then they never came up later on.
That's
like,
true.
Once you got taken away, so in Vera's eyes, you are part of the hive.
Oh, baby, that's so sweet.
Well, so Levette's getting set up for emotional harm, but was also in for some physical harm last night as they demonstrated the power of their ring, and it didn't quite land with Petravian.
Oh no, he landed. He landed multiple times.
No, 4 blows, one of them a crit, yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, so he wanted to show off how his magic item worked, which was the Crown of Command, where every time you get a critical hit, you gain a prayer effect on yourself for 5 rounds. And yeah, it turned out that he crit the first attack, for some reason attacking
course.
Levette lethally. Not entirely sure why, but stuff happens.
It wasn't even, I'll do this with non-lethal damage, it was just full-on after Levette had already demonstrated what the ring
he
did.
really just wanted to see the dice roll, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's canon.
He wanted to hear the
Too bad.
clicky clacks.
He
I
did.
get
He
it.
wanted the math rocks.
Everyone wants the math rocks. I get it.
I don't know exactly what Levette's ring does actually after that whole thing, though, other than like just
Sure.
moving
So
that around. What is it?
it's called the Decoy Ring. What it does is when you make a withdrawal action in combat, which is a full round action, you can move up to your full speed away from combat, and you do not provoke an attack of opportunity once. One attack of opportunity. So if there's like 2 or 3 or 5, you skip the first one.
Okay.
But it's a way to disengage from combat safely. The Ring of the Decoy, what it does is when you make that action, it also grants your character immediate invisibility for 3 rounds, and also spawns in 4 duplicates of yourself that are visible that move off in different directions.
I will
So-
say the description of it was so funny though. Just like these little vests are going ding 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 ding.
Yeah, so like just a bunch of Levettes just like start running around like crazy. Now they're not tangible. Those decoys are not tangible. So targets are going to get an illusion will save to resist the effect.
Okay.
Do you think that
DC
the
is like 17 or something?
do you think the
what?
fake Levettes wave their arms around and scream while they?
Like
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog?
Yes.
And they make the sound that like I make when I try to like jokingly do the Levette voice. That's how they sound.
I was kind of anticipating Skrewy like playing it off as Levette, the real Levette, like rematerializing from the invisibility, so becoming visible again, like shocked them so much that they swung on instinct. But
Nah,
no,
that's
it
not
was
scary.
just, oh hi. Whack.
It's my turn.
Although in fairness, it only knocked Levette down to what, like
50.
half health?
I thought it was.
Less than half health. Yeah.
Less than half health.
Yeah.
I
Did
was
like 82 damage total. 78 plus the extra 4 from the Crown of Command's
I
prayer
always
effect.
forget that Levette has so much more HP than Riz, and I'm like, damn,
Yeah,
that might
like,
have killed me.
Yeah, 50% more HP than Riz has. Riz is like right comfortably around 100.
Yep.
And
I think 108.
Levette's at like 150 now.
Yeah.
To be fair, if
So-
Archie was out, Archie could have taken the damage
It's true.
too. So
Oh, Archie would have laughed it off, yeah.
I was strongly considering, having been behind Petravian, I was considering like just flicking him and casting Harm, which would have knocked him down 160 points, but that's non-lethal damage. That always leaves at least 1 HP, and I think he's got more HP than that anyway. But it was funnier just to let it like stand as it was. You did a bad thing, Petravian. Keep your hammer to yourself. Keep your hammer for Hummel.
So this session we saw also Vera got a new cloak,
Mhm.
so that was cool.
I'm
The,
excited to put
cloak
that
of
for
the
the title
diplomat.
card.
Yeah. So that's a cool one. And then also Curla got a new item, but has not used it yet.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you want to
So-
talk about it yet, or do you want to wait to reveal it?
It's not all that exciting, but I think I'll wait to reveal it.
Okay.
I'm also still waiting on an explanation of the cat sound, like 2 sessions
Yeah,
ago.
like what the fuck?
I want to
You
know.
said it was
knows?
gonna come up, and then it never did.
It would have come up, but things didn't go the way that they would have needed to go for it to come up. So maybe that'll come up again. But yes, it wasn't just me being random. I promise there was a reason for that. And the ring will come up, and the scroll that they tucked away will also probably come up.
I will say, not fair, Beardy, because I was like literally saying about my ring being like, oh, I'll let the other features like come up later, and then you just said them all, like right after I had said that.
Did you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
glossed
he
over that
did.
entirely, so I didn't
It's
hear
okay.
them.
It's recorded, so it's not like I can hide that shit. People can come back and just find it.
It's in the VOD.
I'm not going to listen
Sorry,
to it, I
everyone.
promise. I'm going to mute over that because I want to be surprised by it. So that'll be fun.
And then I think I even said it again just in this very recording of Checkpoint. So that's twice I've gone over what the Ring of the Sophisticate does completely.
I can at least promise that the cat noise and the scroll and the ring will not work against the party.
I wasn't worried about that until
No,
now.
I just want-
Until this
wanna
very
say-
moment.
I just want to say that it won't. That's all.
Why would I worry about that?
I don't know, because
Why
Curler
do
can
you
be a...
think this way?
Because Curler
Is
can
this
be
why
a
you don't
bitch.
trust NPCs?
Apparently, I'm not a very trusting person. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god. I didn't
I'm-
even like consider that like at all.
So then, speaking of itemization and things,
Whew.
Yes.
Travian decided to go and purchase an item.
Hey, you talk about not being a trusting person. Petravian is not in a very trusting
Oh
mood,
my
apparently.
God.
How many mistakes did Petravian make this session?
Oh.
All
5?
of them.
Bless you,
Oh, I don't
Skrewy.
know.
Thank you for it.
So he got with me between sessions,
He
and
got with you? Ooh.
yeah, and we discussed shortcomings of the character and what he would like to be able to do. And one of the things he wanted to be able to do was be able to damage swarms consistently and well enough.
I want to
with-
be able to win in the battle royale for once.
Yeah, so the next battle royale, when we run one at the end of the season, he wants to see if he'll do better. So he wanted to get something that allowed him to cast Flame Strike. So I gave him the item creation rules, or link to them, and he went through and designed out this thing for himself. So he actually made the item without
Very
any help
cool.
from me. So I was pretty happy. All I did was
Y'all are
double
not
check.
gonna be happy with the rules that I'm going with for the battle royale that I plan on actually streaming for us then.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys get. I
Don't
can't.
spoil
It'll
it.
spoil it. I can't say
Yeah,
anything.
we'll talk about it later.
But well done, Skrewy, on that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Custom.
so- Yeah, all I had to do was double check the math, and he got everything right. So he did everything correctly and had it all built, and then he wanted it to be populated into the world, and then he goes to buy it, and Levette is like trying to talk him out of purchasing it, and I'm like, oh, this is hilarious, because he went through all the trouble to make the item, and he has a party member actively telling him not to buy the item that he himself designed.
Well, because I'm assuming it's because Levette wants to make the item. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
So you can make it for
right.
half the price.
For half the price, yeah. But I think a lot of the issue with that, though, is that, and maybe I'm misunderstanding or misinterpreting, but I think a lot of people want to have more of like a magical spin on their magic items. And
Yeah,
if you get
that's-
something made by Levette,
it's like always
it's-
like clockworky and steampunky, and it's like ew.
right, and that's not the aesthetic that everyone else is going for. So
It's appreciated, though. That
Yeah,
you're
I
trying
mean-
to save us money, Graham. That's kind.
Like, and I've said that to Graham before. It was last night. Was that I was thinking, oh, I should have Levette make the item that I'm having created, because it's going to be like 40,000 gold to make. It'd be 20,000 then, but then it's not something that is like close to Vera's heart, because what's important to Vera is that this was made from the hive. This was this thing that makes her closer to her family.
yeah.
But I also would
And I-
like that extra 20,000.
I felt a little bad poking fun about the whole charisma headband thing because, I upgraded it and I kind of made a point of saying it's so, invisible that no one even knows it's there, referencing the sparkler one that Levette had made that got brutally rebuffed.
It's just
as a
like
result
a
of me
wire
already having one.
headband that just like
Exactly.
sinks into your hair.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's the way I envision it anyway. But
little circlet.
it's still
That's a different thing than a headband.
the thought is still very much appreciated.
Little
So
coronet.
we all got some cool item upgrades, and yes, Skrewy now can do flame strike at what level? 13?
Yeah, so it's a 13th level druid cast of Flame Strike, but then he put the extra spice on it of using the smite to up the damage dice from d6s to d8s.
I like it.
Ooh,
Which is,
I really liked it.
mostly because it's way worse than a smite. So like, I'm totally happy with that.
But hey, it can be very useful against swarms in that case.
But yeah, if you need to use it against a swarm, like, then use it against a swarm.
I got to
So
haggle the
it's-
price down still, so at least you didn't like pay full for it.
Right, which I want to do. I do want to talk about that because part of my house rules that I written up is an alternative use of the appraise skill for haggling, and it's basically an opposed appraise check that modifies the cost of purchasing and selling an item by an enormous amount.
Isn't that
usually
part of the base game?
I don't think so.
No, not officially.
I've always seen people
I'm
doing
pretty
it,
sure
so-
people use diplomacy for haggling normally.
Isn't that what you use?
So
No, I used appraise.
Oh.
no, so I can.
Which
I'll
It's so
post
great because
the,
Riz is literally built for money. So it's really fun getting to use that skill because I'm like, well, when I was originally building Riz, I was like, this makes perfect sense to put all these points in here, even if I'm not going to use it that much. So it's really fun to be able to use it more than just counting money. So I do like that house rule a lot.
So what's the house rule?
That you can
So the
use
house-
Oh, that you
appraise
can use appraise.
for
Yeah,
haggling.
so basically what you do is you make an appraise check, the shopkeeper makes an appraise check, and then it's the player's result minus the appraiser or the shopkeeper's result, and that amount is known as the appraise result or AR. And if your AR is -18 or less, then you only get paid out 5% of an item that you are selling. So if you have it 18 or more, you get 95% of the base value of an item. So you never get 100%. But it's an enormous range, right? Anything from 5% to 95%. And the brackets are like -18 and less, and then it's -17 to -11, -4 to -10, +3 to -3, +4 to +10, +11 to +17, and then +18 or more. And that's 5, 20, 35, 50, 65, 80, and 95%. So if you can put, I'll post this in our Discord so you guys can see it. But this is something I wrote up a couple years ago because I felt that the appraise skill was basically pointless, almost, practically, because it was probably one of the least used and least utilized skills in Pathfinder. And I wanted to make it something that would be more meaty and actually have more of an effect on a party, that you'd want to have someone in your party that was good at appraisal, because that was the person that was going to make sure you didn't get screwed over when it came to buying and selling stuff.
Now, are you still able to
'Cause, like-
sweet talk people with diplomacy, or?
So the thing is, I feel like diplomacy is really useful already as a skill, and it's useful in a lot of other ways. And I wanted something to be specific for buying and selling things.
So no.
So I wanted.
That's
So
a
no.
good answer.
Basically, I wanted appraise to stand up for some, like for appraise to be important to a party in a different way than diplomacy was. Because I mean, you could always make the argument that diplomacy should be able to do that too. It's like, well, diplomacy already does this, right? And it's already one of the most important skills in the game. So why don't I give this one thing to appraise and let it also stand up as a useful skill that people should invest in?
And
Yay for house rules and yay for homebrew campaigns where you can do this shit.
Yeah, so I'll post this in our Discord.
I mean, I feel like
in case y'all
most
wanna read
people's
it.
stuff does that anyways. Like, I don't know.
Hope y'all have open office.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I got on a
But I
tangent
rolled
there.
a 19 on that, so I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah,
That was a really
you
good
did.
roll for my appraise.
Yeah, you got a 10%. So you guys were buying an item,
Mhm.
and the buying stuff is a little less impactful. That takes you from a positive 15% to negative 15% adjustment to the cost. So if you do really, really poorly, you'll pay 15% more. If you do really, really well, you'll pay 15% less. Well, you got really, really good, and you were actually right on the cusp of that 15%.
I know. If I had gotten a nat 20, I'm pretty sure. it
Yeah,
would've
you
been
were
fine.
at positive 17, and that's the threshold for the next one. It was positive 18 or more to get 15%
Yeah.
off. But you got 10% off. So it
It's
saved
true.
you still save Skrewy like 6,000 gold or something, or
Which
4,000 gold, which is still a good chunk of money.
That was
Not
a
that
high
we
point.
really need to.
No, I mean at this point you guys have enough gold that you should be able to buy whatever you want.
How about the wind?
Conceivably, maybe you should try.
You wanna do that?
One wind, please. Do you sell wind? No, we
Who
sell
sells the wind?
weapons
Is
and
it Eden?
armor.
Does Eden sell the wind?
I don't fucking know. In either case, I have not taken any wind-based spells specifically, though.
Interesting.
Because technically a Fate Weaver has like a vast array of wind spells. I tend to go for the lightning shit.
I bet Seamus sells wind. I bet Seamus bottles water and sells it to people.
Yeah, most
Sounds
likely.
like Shamish.
What an asshole.
Seriously. But I mean, the appraise check was a nice high point in the episode for Keni and for Riz, in an episode that was also full of some sad points and some
What
sort
am I
of
talking
breakdowns
about? Well,
and some
so
drama, and not in a derogatory way. Actual, drama is happening. Theatrical sense drama.
Levette touched on a very important thing, which was Petravian may be okay with dying, but the rest of us aren't okay with him dying. And the fact that it seems that he's so casual about it affects other people was exactly the point that I needed to be made, because Riz would never say that. But thankfully Levette would, because one, she knows Petravian longer, and two, like, Levette seems to be understanding Riz's MO a lot better than anyone lately. So it was completely true. Riz has been very frustrated after dying and seeing everyone die, and just as they say later, it just doesn't feel like you guys are taking what I'm saying seriously. Like, Riz probably is processing this as you guys should be more freaked out that you, as very powerful beings, died. And they're freaked out by it. And of course it's pretty much technically past Vera's fault, and they're not okay with that situation. So they're not handling it well. Like, I to be very honest, they are acting very childlike, I feel like, for Riz in comparison to most of the ways they deal with stuff, which is just whatever. They kind of just take it on the chin and get on with it. Except now they're just taking it, and they're getting a bigger chip on their shoulder lately. I won't do it. I won't say it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right, your exercise has more restraint than I expected.
I missed something there, clearly.
It is my favorite musical.
It's the best musical.
It is the best musical.
If it was the best musical, wouldn't you like continue the verse?
Anyways, it's big as a boulder.
Yeah.
Hey!
It did the thing.
Well, I mean, Petravian attempted to apologize
He
for
did.
his cavalier attitude towards death, his own mortality.
It's very interesting, though, because he comes up to Riz and is like, I killed a bunch of people. And Riz is like, me too, your fucking point? And of course, Riz doesn't have the same capacity to understand how many people Petravians killed. A lot of that conversation, even though it sounded like they were talking about Vera, they were very much so talking about themselves. One of the moments was like, how do we accept that you can still be a good person after doing a bad thing? Because they're talking about themselves with the fact that they just killed people and they're actually feeling pretty terrible about it, and they don't know how to deal with that notion at all. They don't know how to deal with the fact that they recently died and came back. And all this like overwhelming atmosphere that they're currently dealing with, that's just a bit too much, because they're used to kind of just dealing with one thing at a time, and that's cool, and they're really chill about that, but it's just a lot suddenly, and they feel like they're supposed to be the mentally strong one in the group, to not be bothered by these things, and they don't know how to rely on anyone. So of course they're asking these questions, but they're just feeling frustrated because they're not hearing what they need to, almost, I think is the best way to put it. It's not nice, and it's probably not accurate. They probably are hearing things they need to hear, but it's not getting retained. They're just upset. The comforting isn't working.
Are they less upset with Petravian now than they were, or is there still that disconnect?
They have a really hard time with Petravian. They really want to like him, and there's some really sweet moments they have with him where they really do appreciate his gentle nature. And again, they see Petravian as this like very good person who needs to stay good. He needs to stay like wholesome and pure, because without him the party's probably going to run into disarray super fast. Like, he's absolutely essential in Riz's mind to the group. But at the same time, Riz never feels like he understands what they're saying. And
Sorry.
And having just that discourse of that, and wanting really hard to explain to him, but understanding he probably just won't get it, is just frustrating to them. They kind of see him as a lesser being, almost. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Skrewy, like, you're not a lesser being. It's just how Riz is. They're a bad person. They kind of see him as a lesser being because he just doesn't get the things. And they still want him to be pure and wonderful, but they just get frustrated with him, and they probably inherently want to be his friend, but again, they don't really know how to be a friend. I think Levette's a much safer choice for them because Levette's smart enough to deal with them. Sorry, Skrewy. I'm really sorry. But
yeah, we're talking in terms of characters, not in terms of players.
I know, but I just feel bad, like, because I don't want to talk bad about Petravian, because I really like him, but at the same time, Riz is literally talking different languages to him every time. And they're like, man, I really want to, like, relate to this person, but goddamn, he make me really angry every time.
Speaking of Petravian making people angry, though, going back to the bug killing gloves.
I wanted to get back to that. Vera, look at the thing I got to kill you.
And destroy all of your works.
Like, the thing is that this whole time, even before the Pentra's estate, Vera has been having this whole entire thing where she's noticing Petravian does not trust her at all, whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, after seeing the thing that she didn't want anyone to see because she didn't want people to turn their backs on her, because that's her whole thing. She doesn't want to lose family.
Mm-hmm.
After all that,
Bam.
he picked up these guns that say Vera on them.
Yeah, it's so perfect. The timing is absolutely perfect for Vera to be very, very paranoid about the whole situation, and I love it.
Jesus.
Like, because Vera not only just feels bad in general, like, she doesn't like thinking about that, the stuff that happened in Pentris. She's thoroughly embarrassed by the fact that everyone now knows it. It's kind of, like, horrifying her knowing that it's like, oh, all these people know what I did. And then seeing this.
I got bug zappers on my hands!
And then the fact that Petravian basically lied, saying, no, it wasn't for you. It's like, when else did we have it?
Oh, back there. And Riz, of course, being very upset with Vera right now, is just like, hey, want me to tell you whose fucking swarm that was? The bitch you're talking to. Taking no prisoners.
We're such a healthy, functional party of adventurers with good, solid interpersonal relationships.
I feel like I was a little healthier before I died.
Well, Vera told you guys not to go. And Vera told you the exact place to go, so you didn't have to die.
Well, that was Petravian's fault.
And I just think this very healthy, well-adjusted group has about 17 or so sessions left before the end.
Boy.
Before the TPK.
So
Yeah.
no pressure. Shit.
No pressure.
We all die at the final boss, and then we switch to the lightning blades who are like coming up the rear, and we all
Yeah.
like get to play a character that's meant to kill our character.
Yeah,
17 sessions,
so
eh? Wow.
who gets Dunkelmere then?
it would be Vera, right? Or
Yeah, wasn't
Xeno?
Dunkelmere made to kill Vera?
Because
I
of
think Dunkelmere's
AoEs.
Yes, you'll get to play as Dunkelmere then.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
He's the Doctor Strange boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Who does Kurla get to play as? I figured Kurla's double was the
I think it
pox-ridden
was
one.
Donovan,
Donovan, I believe,
Yeah.
the party's ranger.
the ranger.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm,
He
okay.
has so many shots that he can do to take
Yeah.
you down.
Just very consistent range damage that is very, very good at killing things at any distance. As long as he can see the target, he can pretty much take it out.
I'll write that down.
And then Jiro was designed to kill Archibald.
I thought it was me.
Well, Levette. I mean, honestly,
A lot of
No,
things can kill me
no.
really easily.
Jiro wasn't designed to kill Levette.
Oh, that's
that
what-
was what Nady was supposed to do. Jiro, I think, was for you. I think you're right.
Okay. Because he
Yeah,
could just like
Jiro-
Just
bop me a couple of times and I'm
just
dead.
sneak attack.
Yeah.
He can't.
What? Yeah, he has an ability where he can sneak attack 9 times in a turn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm dead like
Yeah.
in one instant if Jiro tried
Yeah,
to kill me.
I rolled one of his attacks just as a joke, yesterday, just to see how much it was, and it was absurd, just completely absurd the amount of damage you can put out in a round.
So me, very well knowing that Jiro can kill me at any moment if he chooses to, I'm still like, yeah, I'm fine.
So I'm just doing the maths on this. Timmer and then Nichols. Who was killing Levette of that, and who was killing Archie?
You don't need to kill Archie.
Okay.
You'll need
So-
to kill Levette
Really
Who's
fast.
killing Levette? Timmer and Nichols?
really fast.
Or just one of them?
So it was the witch was designed to take out Levette instantly, actually. Yeah.
Oh, so that was Nady then.
Yes. That's what he said just
Was-
a bit ago.
Was
I'm
going to
sorry.
take out Levette, and then by extension
witch.
Archie.
I'm sorry, I meant Petravian, not Levette. Who was Petravian's
Oh,
murderer?
Petravians?
The barbarian,
The
right?
barbarian.
Yeah, Timmy.
Yeah.
Timmer. Okay.
Timmy.
And Nichols was just support then?
Nichols is just support. Yeah.
Okay, I'm writing all this
Just-
down because
just
I'm
to
doing
make
these
sure
articles
that-
next on the wiki.
Just to make sure, nothing bad happens, and make sure that the plan goes according.
So I
He's
think
there to
it's
keep people alive. In case
very
anybody
fun
needs
that
healing.
you put like a barbarian against Petravian originally, and then you're like, what if your brother also?
What if your brother also? And I also have a history of putting barbarians against paladins in big combats because it's funny. Because paladins
Do I have
always
to be worried for season 4?
Paladins always go in there thinking they're big dick energy because they can lay on hands themselves, and they don't realize that barbarians have some bullshit that they can pull out of their own.
I feel like Skrewy should know that, though. We've done an alternate game where he's played a barbarian.
He's played a barbarian, and he knows the kind of bullshit they can pull out. You'd think that, like, oh, a paladin can, like, lay on hands themselves as a swift action every round, and they can, they can mitigate that damage that's being done to them. It's like, yeah, that's true. But barbarians hit way harder and have way more hit points, and like unless that barbarian is evil, it's gonna fucking rip that paladin to pieces. Now, if the barbarian's evil, then the paladin's gonna rip it apart because smite is so overpowered as a class feature. So, yeah, good time.
Well, good
anyway.
to know for season 4 for me. Thanks, Beardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know I've told you the story about the paladin and the barbarian.
Maybe I should make Quill a barbarian.
You're gonna risk
Beardy...
unroguing him?
Nah.
Yeah.
Of course
Why
not.
are you concerned for season 4? I thought Beardy was a teddy bear, Keni, and
Playing a
everything's
paladin in
trustworthy and
season
everything's
4.
fine.
Oh yeah, but like that. I asked Beardy to punish me.
Hold up.
Nice.
Hold up now.
Okay,
Write
then.
it down for the record.
I'll just go ahead and add that to the wiki
That's
as well.
okay. He knows very well I will push it back just as well at him.
That's true.
It's true. But it's all consensual.
Yes, that's the key part.
Very much so.
In
Isn't that right,
D&D,
Beardy?
as in all things.
Consent is key.
Yes.
So,
Look, he's one of our viewers.
what?
Sorry. I said
Key,
he's one
hi,
of our
Key.
viewers.
Actually, I don't think
Hi.
Key's watching because Key is not yet caught up on season 2.
Yeah.
But hi, Key, in
Hi,
future
Key,
when you
future
listen
Yeah,
to
Key.
this.
this is a time capsule. Hello.
Hi,
There you
Riken.
go.
Yeah, I
It's
was
good
gonna
to
say.
see you. Riken just
we're thinking
appeared.
about Key, and
Hey,
Riken's over here
Riken.
like, hey.
So, anyway, I guess the last thing that happened in the episode though was Riz wanted to have a conversation. Or sorry,
I
no,
didn't.
Levette. Sorry, Levette wanted to have a conversation with Riz the other way around. That's right.
It's me.
Yeah,
your
so
boy.
Levette messages Riz, and the two of them have a conversation in the cube.
Which is now
Did
a
you like the
designated
cube?
route. It's beautiful. I'm so
I
glad you made
I
it.
thought you'd like it. I made it purple.
It's good. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
So Levette wanted to kind of talk to Riz. I don't know what Levette really wanted to talk about. Riz was kind of flying high on feeling sad. So
Mhm.
they kind of just bared their soul to Levette about the whole situation. Because I guess they're comfortable enough with that with Levette. They explain they killed people. They explain they are feeling bad. And they also explain that, like, it doesn't feel like you guys are taking this seriously. That you died. And also you don't understand. I still feel my skin being eaten off of me. I'm not okay. I am really not okay. And I don't know how to be okay right now. So trauma, just a lot of trauma dumping.
Yeah.
A lot of trauma dumping for Riz, which is weird. It's weird.
So, what do you think's going to happen to Riz? Like, do you think they're going to get over it anytime soon, or is this going to be
No.
trauma they
I
carry
think
with
they're
them?
gonna carry it for a while. I don't like Vera. It's not just gonna be okay in a day. It's something they have to process for a little while, maybe longer.
And like I said, I am excited to see the next time that Vera summons a swarm, because I'm sure that's going to kick off some PTSD for.
Yeah, I'm really afraid to go into combat again with Vera because I have a feeling Riz might just go into fetal position if a swarm's near them.
How do you feel about taking a character flaw?
I'd love it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Beardy, do you know who you're talking to? Torture me, Daddy.
It's a bird.
Well, then
What
I
did
think
you
we'll look into.
I'm not a
I think
bird.
we'll look into drawing up a flaw for Riz
You got it.
or fear of swarms.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah, right.
I
Can't
mean,
possibly go
make
wrong.
the glass cannon worse.
Add weaknesses as we're heading into the end game.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
exactly.
Good.
Yeah, well,
It
make it
shouldn't be
interesting.
easy.
no, it shouldn't be easy. I was being completely sincere
So
with
Yeah.
that.
if
Y'all never know when I'm being sincere or not, do
If
you?
if it comes down to it, and I guess this is a question to everybody. If it comes down to the end of this season, and you guys are in the final conflict battle with the big bad evil guy, who may or may not be Marcus the Destroyer,
Yeah. Who we are assuming is probably the big bad.
who you're assuming is probably going to be Marcus the Destroyer.
Yeah.
In that fight, if you lose, what should happen? Should the end of the campaign be the loss of the characters of the party, or should I pull punches till you win and try to make it less obvious? Because I mean, my inclination is to make it a satisfying game at some level, and I feel like by letting you guys fail, that would be in some way unsatisfying. But also by guaranteeing you guys victory, that's also unsatisfying.
I'll talk to you
So I have
later
to find
about what I
some
want.
some middle ground that is satisfying, that you feel you have accomplished something and that you've won and you've overcame a challenge.
There's little details I want to give you
Yeah.
as an idea, but
Mhm.
privately.
Mhm.
But in general, I'm fully accepting that Riz might die endgame, or even before that. I've
Mhm.
accepted Riz's death a long time ago. But
it's the burden of playing a glass cannon.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm very much so like understanding that this character now doesn't want to die, and it's very interesting playing that now because they were never afraid of that.
Mhm.
So it's cool. It's really cool to be like, oh, I as a player, I'm comfortable if Riz dies. Like I've accepted this a long time ago. Session
we haven't-
3.
We
I
haven't.
died.
We have not yet adopted the Wildermyth style death rules.
It's true.
So that is season 3. We're going to be doing that. So once that happens, I think that makes this conversation a little bit easier, because in that one, character death is pretty much only consensual, which is interesting. It's a weird way to do it, but I'm willing to give it a try to see how it works.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to have to consider what would constitute a satisfying ending.
hmm
I don't want an easy victory, I just don't also want a defeat that would render the whole previous season sort of feeling pointless.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like the last season ended on such a sad note for a lot of people that weren't me. I don't know. I felt really good about it. It was really sad, but I was like, this is the best option for my character.
Mhm.
I've given them the best ending possible that I could have had out of all the choices I looked at, all the paths. Thanks, Riz. I get to play out my tactician with Riz. It's great. Just how I see the world is just a bunch of different paths, and what are the options?
it's also a question of whether or not loss is the same thing as death. Like, if we lose and the character dies, I feel that would be far more disappointing than if we win but the character dies. Like, winning or going out, dying to succeed, dying to, give your life in exchange for defeating the big bad guy, that to me is a much more satisfying way than, oh shit, the character's died and we've also not accomplished the goal.
Yeah. Because that was just pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but also realize that what I'll always try to do is, in those situations, we just advance time and the campaign becomes what would happen after that, right? Like, if you guys were to lose to Marcus and Marcus's plan succeeds, what does the world look like in 50 years? Or what does the world look like in 10 years? And what does a hero look like in that era, trying to make the world a better place then? So it basically, everything in this campaign setting is alive and moving and pushing forward. So things, I think Keni just had an idea.
I'm good. Don't worry.
You wanna talk about it?
No. Doesn't involve any gold dragons.
Is it now just a canon that we lose?
I'm not going to say anything, but
Good. Great.
it's, I just,
so excited now.
No, but having, making sure that I want you guys to know that the setting is not set in stone, right? Like, I have done a few things in an alternate game that take place in the future, but I try to leave things ambiguous enough that it wasn't...
Well, Snake Eyes in itself is very much so character driven, like in their personal lives, more so than the world and what's happening in the world compared to this campaign. So yeah, I think there's
what little snippets of world information I gave you in that, I don't think tipped the scale one way or the other as far as what actually happens. It was
the future. That's it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
So, but what I want to emphasize though is that the setting is not set, right? You guys are going to influence the way that the setting goes based on how this season goes, and the things your characters do are going to have an impact in the world ongoing. Like the Pinterest estates now, in 10 years, in 50 years, might be an awesome place to live now because of what happened over the last couple weeks.
Guys.
Yeah, that might be your hometown. There. That might be your hometown in season 4. I don't know. Like we're not there yet, but the important thing is that I just want to let you all know that you should at least feel you have some impact on how the world develops. Especially playing characters that are so high level, you have a lot of ability to influence the world around you.
I think the thing is, it's just probably a lot more subtle because we don't see the immediate change, but we have been changing a lot of things.
Yeah. So
there's also.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I expect season 3 to be interesting. That's all.
There's also the case where if we win, we have to give up so much of ourselves. There's so much sacrifice involved that it feels like a loss for the characters, even if it's a win for the players. Like the players, oh yeah, we beat the big bad, but characters having had to sacrifice, or there are sacrifices to be made without having to sacrifice one's life. So if they come through with a victory but are worse off at the end of it themselves, but the world is, that there are ways of handling a victory or a defeat.
We lost a leg last time.
Exactly.
Petravian got off scot-free, as he do.
Yeah.
Are you okay, Xeno? Okay. You got really quiet. I'm not planning for it to go bad. I was just very excited about dragon things, okay?
Yeah.
Thinking of Zell.
Yes, I need to know. It is the thing that drives my thoughts at night so often, Beardy.
Why is Zell dead in Snake Eyes?
To know. I love you. Obviously. I need to know. And I need to know, within a year. Please, oh God.
You'll know within a year? There's only 17 or so episodes left.
I know.
That'll be great.
Well, I don't know where I was going with that. 17 episodes left, and the next one is going to be next weekend. Ish? Yep. God, Ish isn't coming back.
No, he's not.
So I guess if you bring Ish back, Ish might be able to shut down Marcus for you. I mean, that'd be fine.
Oh, no, we're good. You
sure? I mean, you could call in Grishna and be like...
If Vera dies, doesn't Soul come in?
Let's bring in some blood magic. This will be great. What could possibly go wrong?
Does that mean I guess I would. With a furious rage.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd... Solena.
And I don't think you would be playing as Soul either. You would be playing as Riz.
Yeah, no. Hell have no fury like a best friend's rage.
Yeah. So I would get to play as very angry Soul.
Yep.
Yay!
Well, if and when that happens, you'll all hear about it. We hope you'll join us for those adventures.
I really hope Vera doesn't die. That's gonna change Soul's processes a little. Please don't die.
17 episodes, we'll find out.
Mm-hmm. About. I was just rounding to 65 or so, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Could be more.
But that's it for our discussion on today's episode. We want to thank you all for coming and joining and listening. A lot happened and didn't happen. It's weird. It was a lot of emotions.
A lot
I'm
of anger.
sorry. A lot of anger. A lot of anger.
I like calling Vera a bitch. Like,
She
most of
is.
the time.
It's
Yeah.
weird. I'm like, oh, she's a bitch, but I love her. And then Riz is like, she's a bitch.
And she's a bitch.
And she's a killer.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but like a literal terrorist killer. Like, more so than I think I've ever killed kind of killer.
You're just sad that my KDA is higher.
Yeah.
KDA?
Killed.
It's kill death assist ratio.
Ah,
Your
okay.
kill scores. It's a
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a game.
gamer lingo.
Yeah. But
Notch on the belt. I gotcha.
thank you all so much for joining today. We will see you next Saturday for another episode of Check Please.
What?
We hope you roll with us
Oh
then.
no!
Have a good day, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.